pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Wyatt.
Here.
Engel. Here. Reister.
Here.
Bunce. Present. Stabell.
Here. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anything to be removed from the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's comments. I do want to publicly thank the Cedar Valley Disc Golf League for the installation of the Frisbee Disc Golf Course that is now down at Beach Nut. Especially Eric Young, who coordinated his staff or his volunteers to come down and install that at no cost to the city. We did have some public works employees assist. Out of the 3-point well-marked grant, we had the funds to buy the goals themselves, and a portion of the cement, the rest of the cement that we poured came out of our parks stuff. So they are going to have a first annual tournament without a name on November 10th. I think they're having it at 8 a.m. I think that's Sunday. They would be glad to have some commercial or some hole sponsors. It's 9 holes, or somebody to provide some lunch. So we'll try to get that word around and see if anybody can help get involved. It's no charge for the Frisbee disc. Awful hard to charge for that one, and I think it's going to be a great amenity for the city. So, anything else?
Or they could come down for lunch at the AMVets in honor of Veterans Day.
Oh,
It's open to the public
so that will be open on that day?
so.
Good, we'll do that.
Well, there you go.
Do you know what time, Gail?
I don't know for sure, but I know they're getting meat trays and things like
Okay.
that, so it might not be a lunch, it might be more hors d'oeuvres types of things, but.
Citizens' requests. We will let you talk about your Shawless Road right now.
Okay. So I guess I'm just wondering.
You're on the Kirkhoff edition, correct?
Yes,
Off of
sir.
Shawless?
We're right
Right.
here. And Butterfield and Ranchero
It just,
and a little bit here on Shawless have been repaired beautifully. Sections were cut out, new blacktop was laid, rock was put over it. And our little section here between Butterfield and Greenbelt, a couple of plops of blacktop were put down in the really big holes and then just left. And I guess I don't understand why we wouldn't get the people that live there, get that street repaired as nicely as the other miles of street around us.
Yeah. The section from Butterfield over to your entrance, was that been seal coated in the past, or was that strictly gravel? Was seal coated?
No, it's
Yes.
blacktop. yeah.
Okay, so what we did is we missed it when we evaluated Ranchero and Butterfield. The individual or employee at that time, who's not here right now, apparently did not go down that end. So we missed it on the bids with Prairie Road Builders. And that's why Jake is gonna watch that. We've got some cold patch we can put in it to try to keep it decent. We'll make sure that next year when we have Prairie Road Builders and others come in to give us bids on any repairs, we'll make sure that we continue on down to the end of that, especially past your entrance where the turnaround for the garbage trucks, because we know that's gotten chewed up, and I think they brought in some cold patch or rock in for that as well. So nothing more I can do at this point, but we'll definitely have that from next year.
That'll be like early next year?
Yeah,
February, March.
we're gonna get a lot more jump on the process.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that intersection where we come around the corner is really bad.
Yep.
And they did throw some blacktop there, but,
Is he cutting into my time?
yes.
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
So,
You're talking about the barriers that go into the green belt?
okay, yes, the barrier's right here.
Right,
So what's happening is that people are parking way down there
they are again?
and dumping.
They dump trash.
They dump trash
Okay.
and there's some shady activity going on?
I'm aware that there was a couple years ago, and that's why the county put the barriers in there, because the county goes up to that blacktop, and that's why they shut that off.
Sure, but
We
we're
had
wondering,
patrolled in there in the past, and we probably haven't been recently.
we're wondering if perhaps those barriers can be moved up to the
Okay.
end of
Okay.
the road, because there's no reason for anyone to drive back there. Without
We'll look at that, because what I've got to do is make sure that
the farmer.
if it was county that placed that, and if county comes at all on that road, I've got to check with them to make sure they concur with it. But I
Okay.
don't see that there would be any objection to get that process
Yeah,
done.
that would eliminate all the cars.
Yeah,
back
they're just
Sure.
far enough back
They're
that
doing it
people
again.
can get
Mhm.
kinda
I knew that
hidden
there had
behind the
been
trees back
Issues in the
there.
past.
We can also make sure that our police department's aware of that too.
Yeah.
So that they, you know, when they're patrolling out there, they can look for that, because
They were down there a couple weeks ago
Oh, I've been
for
patrolling.
all afternoon.
We need to provide the safety so that you don't have to
Thank you.
worry about doing that. No, we will, and we have new police chief, Daniel Banks, and he will definitely take a look at that area. Not that Chief Marsh didn't in the past, but if we've got it coming up again, do it.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome to leave, you don't have to stick through the whole meeting.
you can though if you'd like.
Okay.
It's exciting.
Committee reports. Scott, you got Public Works?
Yes.
Hold on. You want Leon to see?
Oh, yeah, Leon. Now, I was thinking for public hearing, you're right.
Yeah, you thought one would do it, didn't you?
I should just put you on as a regular agenda item.
Hell, yeah.
I wouldn't miss you.
I have some comments or questions,
Okay.
both I guess, about this resolution 2536 that you're gonna take up tonight.
Yep.
And I see in the note that Chrissy sent out on October 8th to zoning administrator and so on, that it talks about this final plat that we're picking up is 17.04 acres. But if I look at these lots 1 through 26, they're about a third of an acre each. So that means that's about 8 acres. I'm wondering where's the other 9 acres? Must include what is called that lot 27, or does it? Where do we get to the 17 acres?
The 23,
On page 40.
so you're talking about the final plat
Yes,
on the second edition.
yeah.
So now let's see here. Got any thoughts on it, Chrissy? Is there anything?
I'm pulling it up.
Page 43.
So you're saying Chrissy sent out something about 17 acres?
Yeah, on the 8th of October, and it's in the packet, is where I picked it up. So I'm wondering, what area are we really considering on this final plat tonight?
It's supposed to be absolutely just that.
The final plat is considered the lots that are staked out, as well as the detention pond.
So
Oh,
it
the detention
include
pond.
this?
No, the detention pond.
Okay, because
the
I
right.
wondered, because you see on the map, this is all much darker than everything else, which led me to believe that maybe that was included. But
No,
so.
it's the lots that are platted out as well as the detention
Okay,
pond, that big
These
lot.
27 lots,
Yeah.
and maybe these outlots, I don't know.
Well, so 27, so it includes tracts
So
of
the 27 acres must not be a good number, or 17, excuse me.
If it includes it.
27 times a third.
But, yeah, if it includes it, it might, if
It's-
it doesn't look good. So, looks like we got a conflict in the information there, unless there's something I'm missing. And that could be.
The final plat is everything that is there. They'll do a final plat on, and so the lot
So-
27 is considered commercial, but they'll do a final plat on that because that is the third edition.
So right here, what it is, if I'm correct, it's all of this,
Yes.
those lots. It is the outlot A, which is the retention pond, and includes this as tract D, so it locks that in. But then, nothing happens on this until we get final platted. Even though there's a preliminary plat outstanding, that can't be final platted to have the individual stuff
But
in
we're
there.
approving a final plat on 17, might approve a final plat on 17 acres tonight, which would include this.
Yes, that's
But
correct.
there's nothing in it.
But there's nothing in it.
Okay.
In that, so
There's
the
nothing.
final plat says at that point when it's approved, that is still bare ground. So it's those next processes before there'll be a final plat that shows 6 buildings on here.
We had a discussion last time about the lack of information here because, well, we had, what, 7 buildings,
7.
10, I forget, all
7.
lined up in a row like dominoes. But the question as to how traffic got in and out of those buildings was not resolved.
Yeah, but right now, that's not what
That was a preliminary
we're,
plat,
Yeah.
we were concerned about it, and now we're taking another step to a final plat, and we have less information than we had for the preliminary.
But the final plat on this piece
Yes,
specifically says the only thing that's approved on that at this point is that bare piece of tract D ground.
What is it zoned right now?
Zone commercial.
Commercial.
And
why would we approve a final plat on a bare piece of ground?
We did that with the first edition as well.
You did the same thing with the first edition because all that ground up through there was bare.
A final plat?
The final plat basically
On the
giving
first
the
edition?
specifics on this, yeah. Yeah.
And we do that with every other development.
I don't remember it that way at all. We had preliminary plats with the lots and the streets, 2 or 3 of them, or iterations of it, and then we did the final plat when we kinda got things nailed down. But why would we do a final plat on a bare piece of ground?
Is that legal type
Yeah, that,
requirements?
we do that with every other development. Cause it locks in what they're doing. Without putting the buildings on the lot, but it locks in
Locks the
the
dimensions of that.
dimensions of the lots.
Where does the review by planning and zoning or council take place for what's going to go in there?
Tract D has to have its own process to go through. It's had a preliminary only.
Mhm.
There's no, in the preliminary was at 7, as you know,
Okay.
10 plexes.
Yeah,
The preliminary's now been changed to where it's only 6 in order to make sure the proper amount of traffic lanes.
okay.
So that's gotta go through the process before it ever finally hits a final plat. And then that will take that piece just by itself out of this and make it its own recordable document.
So we're gonna have 2 final plats on this piece
No,
of land?
well,
One-
yeah.
One tonight and
Yeah.
one later on.
Right.
Why don't we exclude this from it?
what does it matter?
What difference does it make?
Yeah, what difference does that make?
Bare
Well,
ground.
I think if you approve a final plat, it's gonna be, we're approving something that doesn't exist. Where does approval for what goes on there come from?
The next space, so when they come to D and say, here's preliminary, I want 6 buildings. And then that's gonna go through the committee, and then through us, and then 3 readings, and then final plating, and the committee, and all of us, 3 readings again. Just like we just did with this one.
Now, if it would have been clearer, we'll take that under consideration
Yeah.
for future, but in this case, this is the way it is, because our attorneys are concurrent with it, our agents are concurrent with it, I understand the confusion.
Seems
Appreciate the
strange to
confusion.
me. Okay, another question. The resolution 2536 says we're dealing with lots 1 through 26 and 89 through 94. I don't see 89 through 94 on this map.
That's now track D, right? We will make that revision in the resolution,
So
that it
they've
includes
been
track D.
renamed to this tract D.
Hmm?
89 through 94 have been dissolved and just renamed part of tract D.
As that puts it, correct? Yep.
What were those
And you
numbers?
said how many
89.
buildings?
Right now, the revised preliminary plat is 6 rather than the original 7.
So we're gonna have 5 lots for 6 buildings.
No, that's 6.
89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. Yeah, there's 6.
What's this?
So the lots are here someplace?
Yes.
In some shape?
Yep.
Okay.
They're being worked on.
Yeah, seems really loose to me, but whatever.
Understand?
Is that preliminary plat that we voted on last time,
Yes.
that you're talking about in tract D?
Yep. Where are we? Now we're at committee report?
Committee report, yes. Let's see. October 15th, 7 a.m. Park and Rec has a couple projects at the Ball Diamonds, including dugouts and park playground equipment. we talked about. We approved curb and gutter replacement at 109 Sunny Lane. A couple sewer adjustments that are on the agenda. And then we talked about a sump pump drainage issue on Elm Street. And that was it.
Any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Now, open the public hearing regarding the approval of preliminary plat for Upper Ridges 3rd Edition. Chrissy, anything in writing?
No.
Any oral comments?
I just had a question, city limits, what the city limits are in association to that? Are they
The city limits right now on the east side border of Upper Ridges 3 proposed edition.
So it just stops, goes right to the city limits?
Yep.
Which is the same as Upper Ridges too, right?
Correct, right straight north from there.
Of course, we don't do that, right?
No oral comments?
Has the plans changed, or we haven't seen anything revised, or did they, plan and zoning said kind of subject to, so things change?
Yep, subject to. Chris, here is the revised plat that was in there, which is the Lot C, which will be the detention pond for the Upper Ridges 3. There is a permanent easement of 35 feet on the south side, which if necessary can be extended for the city, for a city street, a street to be connected through there. Water and sewer will be such size that it can be extended through there. So it will be an available access should you complete your acquisition of the Harvester property, and should you request to be annexed into the city, then that would be an available access to be able to have what you thought might be a 18-lot subdivision down through there. So the access will be available. It will not be cemented in what I'm proposing to the council for approval, but it would be a lot of record that has a 35-foot easement to provide an access.
And 35 would meet the standard of the city's
It
requirement?
would meet because we have basically a 31-foot curb to curb on the city streets.
So that will be water retention, or won't it just be?
It would be outside, the water retention will be on the north side of that and sized in order to handle whatever is necessary to 33 lots. So there'll be sufficient size in that Lot C to allow the 35 feet for a future potential street, and still it would not invade the area that we need for the water retention pond.
So a future development, going on under our future land, and would that, whose responsibility of that road would that be placed on?
That would have to be a decision at the time between the city and you as probable developer.
Typically developers pay for streets, correct? Typically, that doesn't mean
In this
anything,
case,
it's typically what
The
we've done.
city is going to be probably doing improvements on Upper Ridge or the extension of Pirate because that is city's property already. This is
So this
laying
would
up
be
to.
city's property also too then?
Potentially.
Potentially.
And in this case,
Potentially or not potentially?
in this case, the developer is not asking for any rebate agreement. They're simply asking for the installation of Pirate Drive, and I'll be doing a calculation to support it to the city council that that is a reasonable and is no more than any other development agreement with anybody else.
So just so this will be city ground, so
Correct.
we're going through this direction.
Yep.
And then it sounds like city ground is, from your past experience, you put roads in on city ground, is that what you're saying?
In some cases. In some cases, we've mandated the developer to do it.
And why isn't a road just being placed in there? That's such that struggle
Because
with
there's,
it.
to me, I don't see a reason at this point to put in a road to ground that is currently not in the city and currently does not have a plan or a request to the city for annexation by the current owner.
But even if it was a farmer that said they're never gonna develop it, you would still want, what's your planning and zoning do if they don't plan for the
The
future?
plan is there by having an available access into that area, into
Okay.
that property.
But all you're doing is kicking the cost down the road to either us
Yeah.
or the city,
Yeah,
which you're letting the current developer off the hook is what you're doing.
no.
Why,
I don't
he
look at
doesn't
it that
need
way.
a street there, so why would we make him pay for a street there? That doesn't make any sense.
Because of planning.
Every
That's what
city
we-
does it, the city of Waterloo has an ordinance that says water and sewer will be extended to any future land that would be developed. you don't wanna stop a development from going to continue growth for the city.
So if you're accurate on that statement,
I mean, and that's
that at the
your fault.
time that you were to take ownership of the ground, and you would come through to be annexed, and at that time you requested development, and if you provided us at that time sufficient support that says Waterloo and Cedar Falls and everybody else does it, I would believe that the mayor at that time, and the council at that time would probably concur with going ahead and doing that for you, or any other developer. But I will not, from my perspective, I will not recommend to the city council to commit to put cement in that street for a future thing at this point.
And we're
I
truly
will
not,
not deny the fact, or will not exclude the ability for that to happen in the future.
we're not putting on the city to do it. We believe as a developer that it is a developer's responsibility to do that.
Yeah, we just-
You
we
you
just
can
did
have
this
your
in other
opinion, I
communities.
don't have the same opinion. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Jim,
This is a
something
section-
related to it?
Not the street, but there's a section identified as the reserved for future park use. Is that being donated to the city, or?
Yeah.
So that's, I thought that'd be a good thing to bring up.
Mhm.
You know, it was an interesting thing.
Can people say their names, because we have no idea who anybody is.
Hi, Jim O'Regan.
Chris Fischel.
You guys didn't state your
Tony
name either,
Fischel.
go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Chris and Tony Fischel.
Oh, go ahead. When you guys spoke, you didn't,
Ted and Amy Bonebreak.
Yeah, we did.
And they did, when they did after.
yeah, after you said that, so. Welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I'll close the public hearing. On my agenda. Is that easy?
Back up the top.
General government. Hudson City Council maintains the right to waive the first and second readings of the ordinances presented and may pass the third and final reading of the same ordinance within the same council meeting. Item A, discussion action to approve the second reading of ordinance 824, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the October 2019 addition to the 2017 Hudson Housing Urban Renewal Area pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. And which piece is this on, Chrissy?
This is for, the Twin Oaks to add the
Oh,
commercial
into the urban
lots.
renewal
Yeah.
district.
Yes.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Sibel,
Aye.
Reister.
5-0. Item B, discussion action to approve resolution 2535, a resolution approving a preliminary plat for Upper Ridge's third edition.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Third.
Roll call.
Engel,
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Reister. Sibel,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
5-0. Item C, discussion action to approve resolution 2536, a resolution to approve the final plat of Twin Oaks second edition, City of Hudson, Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, should we just change the verbiage on that to say that the lots 89 through 94 are now called Track D?
Yeah.
Just to take away the confusion?
Yep.
Okay. So then I make a motion to.
You have to make a motion to amend.
The resolution.
Yeah.
The
I make a
resolution?
motion to, what do I need to say?
You wanna make a motion to amend?
Okay, I make a motion to amend the resolution to update the verbiage from lots 89 through 94 are now referred to as Track B.
And a second to that?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're back to the.
To my motion,
Voting on the
As amended.
resolution as amended.
as amended.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Sibel.
Aye.
5-0. Item D, discussion action to approve resolution 2537, a resolution approving the amended development agreement with Hudson Land Development LLC. And that's to pull the same rebate agreement, development agreement that we had on the other edition into this one. Correct?
Yes. It's to add, it's basically to add the commercial lots to the development agreement.
Which is really track D,
All
like it
northern
is.
tier stuff. right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Reister.
Aye.
Buns,
Aye.
Sibel,
Aye.
Wyatt.
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
5-0, informational items, there's 3 of them in the packet. Reminder items, regularly scheduled meeting was held at council chambers except for electric board and library board. Public Works Committee will be November 13th at 7 a.m. Mayor's Task Force, November 19th at 5 p.m. Personnel Admin Committee meeting, November 25th at 4:45 p.m. Public Safety Committee meeting, November 27th at 4 p.m. Next council meetings, November 11th and November 25th at 6 p.m. Before I ask for a motion for adjourn, just a reminder, we have a citywide and school elections on Tuesday, November 5th. So everybody get out and vote. Motion to adjourn?
Go to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This is the first year it's the city council, the